where family dynamics have just changed so much in our culture, in our communities, and we've seen so many different things. So it's important for us to revisit this component from time to time. Some of the objectives in this training include define culture through exploring the diverse make of non-traditional family, identify the 5 C's of parent relations. We're going to look at recognizing the role culture plays when seeking parent involvement and tips to improve your center's parent involvement, or for you as you're floating through, just understanding what it is when we start to look at involving parents. Expose you to how to effectively use parent volunteers by enlisting help without deterring you from your day-to-day goals. So this is a pretty heavy agenda, but we'll hit on all of it, and it's such a great way to express understanding who children are through their parents, and it's so important for us to respect that. So let's look at how this actually comes to the table. We have the relationships that foster school readiness and successful school careers, and it's through teacher-student relationships, teacher, parent, or caretaker relationships. So we have our foster care and community as well, or anybody else who takes on that guardianship role. Then we have the parent, caretaker, child teacher relationship, the dynamic of that trio and what it brings to the table. And of course, the parent child care and child relationship. What is that relationship with the parent and the child? And all of these are things that foster school readiness. All these relationships need to be at an optimal development in order for children and families to be successful in school. Let's look at a couple of things here. Culture versus dynamic. We have culture in a sense of what culture is. We look at our culture as a reflection of how we see culture, and we also look at how culture in itself affects us in a day-to-day living. Then we have what's called family dynamics. What is the make of a family? How is the make of a family impacting a child on a day-to-day? What does that mean for the family? And in that dynamic, we identify those dynamics in your childhood environment so that you can reflect and be careful about biases that may come to the table or what you feel a family should look like. Sometimes it helps us though because we look at our family making if we come from like a single parent family, be that single parent a mother or father or even a grandparent, we start to understand what the strengths are and be able to balance from that. So it just depends on how we look at dynamics. But dynamics is a little bit different than culture. Dynamics is what your family make actually looks like. And how does the dynamics of your childhood play a part in your day-to-day living? How we were reared, what our family looked like, what our role was. Were we the middle child? Were we the oldest? Were we the youngest? How does that play out in our life today? And it's important for us to look back at that because that's how we see families. However, whatever our role is, that's how we remember things. And when we find children in particular roles, we either empathize with them or we have less tolerance with them, depending on what their role is. So some people, for example, may have less tolerance of a single child or the only child in a family environment because maybe they grew up in a large family. So in their head, single children are children, only children may seem bratty, snobbish, or entitled. So as a result of that, we come back to the table and then we treat the children a certain way based on that. These things we have to be very careful of creating labels for the children based on their dynamics.